When my neighbor reported my chickens to the HOA, she thought she'd get rid of them. But instead, I uncovered a secret in her own backyard that nearly destroyed her. The sun had barely risen over Willow Creek Estates when the first letter appeared in my mailbox. It was stamped with the HOA's seal and tucked neatly between a grocery flyer and a utility bill. At first glance, it looked like the usual reminder about lawn care or trash placement, the kind of paperwork that had become background noise in a neighborhood so obsessed with appearances. But this letter was different. It was an official notice of violation. The complaint, unauthorized livestock. The words nearly made me laugh. I had 3 hens, kept neatly in a small coop at the edge of my backyard. They weren't noisy roosters, just quiet egg-laying hens that gave me and my family fresh breakfasts and a bit of peace of mind. They were clean, well cared for, and tucked away so discreetly that only someone nosy and determined could have even noticed. Yet somehow, they'd been reported to the HOA. I didn't have to guess who was behind it. Living next to Karen made everything predictable. She was the kind of neighbor who saw herself as a one-woman enforcement squad. Every overgrown bush, every misplaced recycling bin, every car parked a few inches off the curb, she noticed, documented, and filed a complaint. For her, the HOA was less a governing body and more a weapon. And now, she had turned that weapon on my chickens. At first, I brushed it off. Surely the HOA had more important matters to worry about than 3 harmless hens. The violation notice felt more like a warning than a real threat. But as the days passed, more letters arrived. The tone grew harsher, the fines steeper, and the threats clearer. According to the HOA, if I didn't remove the chickens immediately, they would escalate the matter to legal action. I started to dig into the HOA bylaws. The thick booklet was filled with endless rules about siding colors, mailbox heights, and approved landscaping. Buried halfway through was a section on domestic animals. It banned goats, pigs, and horses, but there was no mention of chickens. Not one word. That omission was important, and I knew it. If they wanted to fine me, they'd have to prove I was in violation of a rule that simply didn't exist. Still, I knew Karen wouldn't stop there. Her war wasn't about the chickens, it was about control. She believed the neighborhood was her kingdom, and anyone who dared live differently became a target. In her eyes, my chickens weren't a harmless hobby, they were an offense against her idea of order. Soon, the tension began to spread. I overheard whispers from neighbors, small comments at the mailbox or while walking the dog. Some sided with me, rolling their eyes at Karen's obsession. Others worried about property values and precedents. The HOA fed into the fear, painting a picture of backyards turning into farms if I wasn't stopped. It wasn't just about me anymore, it was about setting an example. Despite the pressure, I refused to give in. I cleaned the coop daily, kept the hens quiet, and even planted tall shrubs to shield them from view. I wanted no excuses, no ammunition for Karen's crusade. But the letters kept coming. Then, one morning, I woke to the sound of voices in my yard. The HOA president and 2 board members stood outside my fence.